scrimmage. It felt like a regular season football game.
It sure did. I mean, Coach Pender up there, Sean Pender at Pierce County, he's a competitor, and he wants his kids to play at a high level, as also we do. And going into it, I think the best way to find out what you have is to get your kids ready to play at a high level, even though it was a scrimmage. Play it all the way to the end like we did, like they did and we did. Our number one guys out there trying to actually win those 3 quarters. That's the best way to find out about your kids. And we did play a lot of guys, though. I think looking at the film, we probably played more kids than they did. Some of it was because of necessity. Some of it was we were determined to find out about some guys, put some guys on the field and find out about them instead of just keeping them on the sidelines and waiting down the road. We had to get some guys on the field to see what they could do. So it was very valuable to us. The scrimmage was. We learned a lot about it, a lot about some of our guys. We have some things to work on. Although you felt great afterwards, you won your scrimmage, you played great, it was exciting. Kids played hard, played fast, and all that was really good. But then you get back and you look at the film and all you see is things you got to work on. So I tried not to watch the film until Sunday, the latest, because I want to feel great Saturday. I feel like, hey, we did a great job. And then you throw the film in, you start seeing all these things you have to fix. So, but again, it was a lot of fun. It was great to get right back out there and put them in their uniforms and watch them run around. During the week, we really didn't talk a lot about Pierce County. We didn't scheme towards Pierce County. We have an idea what they were going to do, but again, the discussion all week for us was Charlton County, us getting better. And the last couple of years in the scrimmage, I just felt like the effort wasn't what it needed to be. So the biggest thing I told the kids is we're going to break it down very, very simple. I said, I'm not worried about mistakes. I'm not worried about the scoreboard. All I'm worried about is your effort. I want to see great effort. That's all I want to see from start to finish. Great effort.
They did that.
And they did that. So they come away with a 1-point win and great effort to boot. So it was a lot of fun that night.
Tell you what, I had a ball calling that one. That was my first varsity play-by-play for me. I was always up top, and this year I'm down in there. Had Jesse and Albert in there with us. It was a great time.
It was a really good to see the kids come up. And kids really stood up and did what they had to do to be successful.
All right. Coach, let's start off with the first half, if you don't mind. Went back and forth a little bit to start off with. Pierce went down there and scored. Then we had a special teams play.
Yeah, we really have done a good job over the last couple of years in blocking extra points and field goals. And A.J. Bell, you know him. He
might know him.
Yeah, he went up real high. He's a 6'3" kid, went up real high and was able to knock them down the extra point. That was huge. And that kept them off the board for the extra point. And then we went on to miss an extra point of our own. It was a bad snap, so that evened things up there. But again, the first half, you're right, it was back and forth a little bit. It felt like they may have had a little bit more momentum early in the half than before halftime. I felt like we went to the locker room feeling pretty good about ourselves, and we had momentum. The terrible thing about this game is unfortunately injuries. And we lost Mookie Smith. He broke his lower leg, and he's going to have surgery on it on Wednesday, so he's out for the year. He won't be back. And, Mookie was, he started as a freshman. Last year as a sophomore, had a great year on the defensive line, especially when Toby Dasher went out with an injury, season-ending injury. And, the thing that I hate the most, the two things as a coach I hate the most about what I do is the injuries you have to deal with and a kid not being able to play because of them. And secondly is denying a kid an opportunity to play because of discipline reasons or whatever. But it breaks my heart, the fact that Mookie's out for the year, because Mookie's although he's a junior, he's a leader. He's got a lot of spirit and everything for this program, and he grew up in this program. His dad was one of my players, Snapper Hobbs, and then now Mookie. And I tell you what, it's really too bad. But it's the unfortunate part of this game is injuries.
We certainly wish him all the best. We had a prayer request for him on the site the other night, and hope for a speedy recovery. Maybe something will happen. We'll get some little bit more encouraging news later on in the season.
It'd be great. But like I said, he went and saw Dr. Smith and Dr. Greg Smith. He's as good as there is anywhere in the country. He's really well known throughout the country at what he does, And I knew that whenever the word came from Dr. Smith, I knew it was, he's seeing the best. So yeah, we hope for the best, and he'll just have to, still provide leadership, still provide that Charlton County spirit to us in his way, and then hopefully, come back next year for a great year.
All right. Well, I wish him all the best. Coach, moving on to the offense. Jimmy had a fantastic night, I thought. No interceptions, threw a lot of balls. Raekwon really, he had a game.
He really did. The thing about our offense, what we've tried to do, and now with another year and Jimmy having a year under his belt and a year experience, we're able to take the offense and really start to involve it even bigger. And some of the plays where he threw the ball to Raekwon Anderson were actually run plays. And we take a pre-snap read, look at the defense, we take what they give us. So now, actually this year, Jimmy has options other than just run the play called. We send the play in, and he's looking for certain things, and he can do different things with the ball. He can give it to the running back. He can run himself. We can either set up an option situation where we ran the triple option one time and pitched it to Raekwon, and he went down by the goal line. We had a penalty on it. And also he's able to throw the ball out of any run play we called. So that's really good. Jimmy's really taken the next step in his maturity as a quarterback. Raekwon Anderson, I haven't been talking about him a lot, really kind of on purpose. He's just a freshman. I don't want to get too much hype on him, but he's really a good football player. Had a lot of concerns about the offensive line coming into the game.
They did good.
And they did better than we thought they might. They still got a long way to go, really do. We had too many negative plays, too many quarterback sacks and that sort of thing. So those guys have still got to get better. Andrew Lee had a couple good runs for us. But one thing I was really proud of was the way our wide receivers blocked. I thought that
they blocked all the way down.
They really did. I tell you, that was something I was really, really proud of. And I watched the film, and I saw it on film, and during the game I knew it was going on, but not until I looked at the film. When I looked at the film, all of our wide receivers did as good a job blocking as I've seen them have in quite some time. And not only that, we were able to get the ball around. Raekwon caught 6 balls, A.J. Bell 3, and then we had several guys with 1. We had Brad Milton with a catch, Ethan Sauls with a catch, and then Bryant Sloan with a big catch for the 2-point conversion, which we didn't think Jimmy was ever going to get the ball to him, but Jimmy said he couldn't see him. There was too much people in front of him, but he knew he was there, so he threw it, and it was a great play by Bryant Sloan on that. So offensively, we were able to do a lot of different things. There's a lot of stuff going on. Our jet sweeps, our triple option, our throwing off the run, and all kinds of things. So I was really pleased with the way our offense went up and down the field.
Andrew Lee had another huge night.
The
offensive line did a good job, I thought, from upstairs.
Yeah, he did good. He had 2 fumbles. One of them was one fumble was really huge. If we wouldn't have fumbled there, we were getting ready to go up 2 touchdowns on them, and that was a gigantic turnover. And we got to take care of the football. If we trust to put the ball in your hands, we also have to trust that you're going to take care of it. And that was something that we've got to do a better job of. We can't have any fumbles, and he had 2 of them there. Going back to special teams, a couple positives. I think Thomas Johnson kicking off. He had some good kickoffs, and his extra points were strong. Our snapping wasn't the way it should have been. Our punt snapping wasn't as good as it should have been. And our punting wasn't the way it should have been. Our punting, we've got to get better, and we've known this since last year, and we've been working on it. People are probably wondering, why haven't you been working on it? Believe me, we've been working on it, and it's just we've got to get better at it. We had 3 different kids punt the football. We had a true freshman, Travis Ray had 1 punt for 40 yards. Most of that was a roll. A.J. Bill had 1 for 33 yards, and then Brad Milton had 2 for a total of 26. One of them was for no yards. But again, we've got to get better in the punting game, and if that's going to really hurt us if we don't. And we're going to work hard on that. This week's an open week, and we're going to work hard on the special teams.
We're sort of punting by committee right now.
Right now, we're basically having tryouts. I may get every boy and maybe some girls in our school to go out back, and we may just see if anybody in our school can punt the ball right now, and then we'll put them on the football team. But we need to get better at punting the football.
Going back to the freshman for just a second, Travis Ray. That nice punt he got off. A little bit of a low snap for a freshman. He handled the pressure really well. Got the ball out.
He really did, and he's someone we didn't really know. We're always asking the kids, can anybody here punt? Has anybody here ever punted? You know, I figure that's a good place to start by asking them. And of course, Travis didn't say anything. Maybe being a freshman, he didn't want to draw attention to himself. And then finally one day, some other kid told on him, said, "Coach, I think Travis can punt." Travis, come here, let me see if you can punt. And he punted the ball okay. And so, yeah, now he's part of that group right now of AJ, Brad Milton, and also Dalton Mazzell. Now, Dalton Mazzell was going into this thing as the #1 punter. And he didn't even have a chance to punt Friday, but we probably should have got him out there to punt because he's, again, all these guys, we've been so fortunate. First of all, it goes back to Trey Harrington. Trey Harrington was an all-state punter. And then we had 1 year where we had another punter, Tevis Dasher, and Tevis was an adequate punter for us, and so we got away with that. And the whole time we had good long snappers, and Scott Birchall was a 4-year long snapper. And all of a sudden now we've hit that thing where we need to really get this thing taken care of. If not, it's going to hurt us like it did Friday. It hurt us. We gave up a touchdown on a bad snap, and we got to get that taken care of. And we also set them up for another touchdown by a negative yards punt.
Yeah.
Left them on the goal line. So it's something we've got to work on. We've got to get better. But also in special teams, Raquan Anderson and Eric Daniels are real big threats, returning punts and returning kickoffs now.
Yeah.
Both those guys have a chance to go the distance, and both those guys were exciting. I think when both of them got their hands on the ball on punt returns and kickoffs, I think people stood up in the stands and was anticipating them possibly going the distance. And I think you're going to see some of that this year. I think you're going to see a score on punt return and kick return.
All right. Before we move on to the defense, do you have any more stats, offensive stats you want to go
yeah,
over real quick?
we talked about Jimmy having a good game, and Jimmy had he completed 12 passes of 18 for 146 yards, and that's in 3 quarters. So that was really good for 2 touchdowns. He did a good job. Andrew Lee had 19 carries for 122 yards and a touchdown. And Eric Daniels only had 2 carries, but it was for 23 yards. One of them he about broke for a touchdown. And Raquan had 1 carry for 16, and also Ethan Sauls had 1 carry for 12 yards. So we had some guys doing some different things, getting the ball on the perimeter, on the edge, doing some things with that. So we're really excited the way we were able to get the ball in a lot of people's hands, and that's what we want to do offensively. At the end of the night, we want to see all these people touching the football, and if we get able to do that, we're a harder team to defend.
Spread it around.
Exactly.
You did a good job spreading it around too. We'll move on to the defense, Coach. Obviously the big loss with Mookie Smith, but the defensive front continue to dominate. I thought Bryant Sloan, number 22, I thought he had a huge night at linebacker.
Yeah, Brian Sloan, we're so fortunate that the Sloans were able to move back to Charlton County. His older brother, Ryder, played for us and wore number 22 like Bryant, and is a big, strong kid. They got incredible work ethic, which I completely credit their parents, Sherry and Roger Sloan, for teaching them work ethic, because they are workers now in the weight room, in practice, incredible workers. Bryant had a great night. He led us in tackles with 8 tackles. He had 8 tackles and 1 quarterback sack. So he did a great job at inside linebacker. Very smart player, downhill kid, going to make a lot of tackles. Really fortunate to have him, and the guys in front of him. Of course, we real excited about Toby Dasher coming back. He's been out for a year with his torn ACL. He blew his knee out. He'd be a year ago next week. So having him back was huge. And then Omar Lewis just does a great, consistent job. What a great kid. And then Tion Burrows. Tion Burrows is really he's something. We talked about him last week, I believe, didn't we, about being low maintenance. But Tion in the weight room, he's a guy that bench presses 390 pounds, parallel squats 500, power cleans 325. He's just incredibly strong guy. And he had a pass deflection. I believe he had a sack. He had several tackles. And Tion is just a fantastic football player. Now, if we had Mookie, which we won't, but if we had him, that front right there would just be incredible. By far, I think the best in our classification. Even with Mookie gone, we're still pretty good. I mean, we're still really good. Yeah. But, again, we're going to have to bring up some depth. We've looked at guys like Matthew Sands. Matthew Sands he's gotten a lot bigger. He's up to 180 pounds now. He was projected to be our inside linebacker, but I think we're going to end up moving him down to some nose guard, down to some defensive line, because he's a strong guy. He's real thick, muscular kid, and we think he's going to have to help us down on the defensive line. Now our other linebacker positions, we felt really good about. Right now, one of my favorite kids is Eric Daniels. Eric is just a fantastic young man. I really like the guy. Eric played a really great job at outside linebacker for us. And then our inside linebacker, Brian Sloan, did a great job. Now, our other linebackers, I'll tell you, we played a lot of kids there. We weren't real happy about some of the play we got there. We've got to get better. We've got to find some guys to play there. The secondary is all new. Secondary is all completely new. Free safety, we thought A.J. Bill did a great job at free safety. He's got a lot of range, and he's willing to come up and tackle you and hit you. And so we're excited about his play back there. And a 6'3" kid that can really run across the middle and do a lot of things. I think we're going to see him get some interceptions.
That's a lot of area back there.
Yeah, he about had a couple interceptions this week. I think you're going to see him get some. At the corner positions, we had a couple freshmen out there. Marcus Mincy did a pretty good job a couple times. Raekwon Anderson did a good job. And also we had Dalton Mazzell, a senior, and he did a good job at corner. So we're still finding our corners. We feel great about A.J. at free safety. And so the middle of our defense is pretty good. It's the outside edges, the defensive backs, the corners, and outside linebackers where we really got to get better on defense.
All right. How do you, overall, I know it's early, it's extremely early, but with all the new faces coming in, from last year we graduated a few kids, how do you feel about your progress to this point?
Well, I feel good because I told the kids, and I told them this summer, I said, if we have to coach effort, if we're coaching effort, we're probably losing. And we don't want to be in a situation where we got to coach effort. We want to be able to have effort. Effort's non-negotiable. You got to give us effort. If you give us effort, we can work on everything else. Everything else is just a matter of teaching, taking repetitions, working on it. But Friday night, the kids gave us great effort. And as long as we keep getting great effort, I think we can have a lot of fun this year. And I think every week we're going to be in a ball game every week. Now we may not win them all. We may come up short sometimes. But again, I was really excited about the effort that our kids gave us.
My show notes here, we've already hit on the punters, so I'm going to skip that. We're going to take a short break, Coach, and then we'll be right back with the second half.
Okay.
Did you stop it? Mm-hmm. Okay. Coach Mack Show. I have Tammy Bell over there producing today, and we're working on our hand signals, Coach. Second half of that ball game, the third quarter rather, it felt like a regular season football game. Everything was so intense. But going down, the wide receivers, we touched on in the first half of the show, the wide receivers in there blocking with Gillis coming back and taking out 4 boys at one time. That was something else.
Yeah, it was. And you have Isaac Gillis probably I think on the roster, you have him as 5'7", 135 pounds. And he came back and hit one guy just right, which knocked out 3 more of them and allowed it allowed number 15, Brad Milton, a senior, to take the ball on down the sidelines and score with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, our blocking was really good. Really think it was they did a great job with that. The second half, we took, I believe, the opening kickoff in the second half, and we kept it for almost 7 minutes of the quarter.
Yeah.
And which was huge. We were able to get first downs.
Nice
We were able to do what we wanted. We threw in a lot of short passes in there. We roll out passes. We were able to hit AJ on some dragging routes, some quick outs and so forth, and he did a great job catching those. So really, that series right there, I was really happy about, because we were able to take the opening kickoff, second half, and just keep it and drive it and drive it and drive it, and then put it into the end zone. Great drive by our guys. And then our defense just played hard, just kept playing hard. They kept their pass coverage. They really fought hard and competed hard in pass coverage. We were able to get a few sacks in, get to the quarterback, some pressure. So again, it was just it was a lot of fun, and one of those things you just really enjoy it Friday night. You enjoy it on Saturday, and I know everybody here is still enjoying it. But then the reality comes in for us coaches, where we got to start looking at film and trying to correct all the mistakes we made. But again, it was just a great effort by our kids. And anytime I can win or lose, if I can talk about great effort, you got to be happy about that.
Yeah, that was great. It was a great effort. On the defensive side, in the second half, really, other than the high snap, we pretty much shut down Pierce in the second half.
We really did. I think that we really controlled their offense, and they're known for their offense. Coach Pender's an offensive guru, and he knows how to get the ball up and down the field. And you think of Pierce County, you think of offense. You think of them getting down the field really fast. And I was really pleased with our defense for slowing them down. And then it all came down to pretty much the last play of the game, the 3 quarters, where they did score. They got it down there, and they got it in, and then little gamesmanship. They lined up for 2 points. We took a timeout to see how they were lined up, and then we brought the kids over, and we said, listen, we're going, you almost got to take a little bit of a chance. We just told the kids, this is what we think it's going to be, and this is how we need you to defend it, and they did it perfectly. Did it just a fantastic job of stopping the 2-point conversion, and it was real exciting.
That was something else.
Yeah, it was real exciting. I'll tell you what, I really enjoyed just watching our kids celebrate and have a good time and all that, because that was really a special effort on their part. So I was really pleased with the job they did right there.
In the fourth quarter, after that exciting finish in the third, with the goal line stand and all that you just touched on, the fourth quarter, got to look at some younger guys.
That's right. The fourth quarter was all about clearing the bench. It was about getting everybody we could on the field, getting film on kids, and really it was as a reward to some of the younger kids who have worked hard also, just as hard as the older kids, just don't have the experience yet, and give them a reward of getting on the field underneath the lights and playing against somebody else. And we saw some good things. We saw some things that we can work with. Really, I guess, starting with our 2 young quarterbacks. We have 2 freshman quarterbacks. Number 11, you have Tyler Chesser.
He did a good job.
Did a really good job. And then also a guy that's only been playing a quarterback a couple weeks. That's Bryant Sloan, who's about 6'3" also. Both of them threw the ball around a little bit and completed, I think each of them completed maybe 3 passes, which was good. Got a chance to see some young guys on defense who flew around to the ball, didn't give up any points, didn't give up any touchdowns. So we're really excited about the young kids getting to play. I tell you, that was at that point in time in the game, I was just exhausted. And I turned all the play calling over to one of my assistants, Barrett Wilkes. I said, listen, I'm just done. I said, y'all go ahead and you can have this rest of this quarter. And I just stood back and enjoyed watching the young kids play. To me, that's where I have a lot of my fun, is watching kids play. And don't have to be involved in it so much you're not enjoying it. But that quarter I thoroughly enjoyed, because I got to see a lot of kids I really care a lot about get out there and just run around and get to play the game of football and not worry about nothing, not worry about mistakes and all that. So that was a good time, I think, for everybody.
We talk offense, the guys, the quarterbacks, receivers, they always get the limelight. The defensive side of the younger guys, anybody stand out to you?
Well, I really like the way, again, to be honest with you, I've shut the film off. I haven't had a chance to. It takes me a long time to go through film because you watch each play over and over and over. And to be honest with you, I haven't really got into much film on the B team guys yet. But I just liked that they were out having fun. I can tell when they came off the field, that big smile on their face. They're really enjoying it and having a good time out there playing the game of football. And that's really what it's all about. There's a lot of times I almost wish that that's just the way football, we could just do it. Shut the scoreboards off and send all the loudmouths home and just let the kids go out and play the game of football sometimes. You know, sometimes I think that would just be a lot of fun for our kids just to be able to do that. But again, we'll look at more film on the young kids and see what we have. Of course, B team's coming up in a few weeks. First Thursday in September, I believe we have B team football starting at Brantley County, and that's when we're going to start getting to see a lot of these young kids and getting to see. I mean, you know from your son AJ how much growth he had at the B team level a year ago. Every week he got better and better doing what he's doing, playing B team football, and every year it seems like we get a B team kid after a few games, get some experience. And next thing you know, that kid's come up into the varsity level helping us on Friday nights. So, again, I think it's September the 3rd, unless this is wrong, September the 3rd, I think we go to Brantley County for B-team football, and that's where you really get to see these young guys.
All right. Let's see, where was I? Oh, let's move on. We got that award that you sort of created the last few years, and I just made it official this year. Low maintenance award. Who's the recipient this
Well,
week?
you know, senior spotlight and low maintenance can kind of go together. A guy I'd like to talk about would be Michael Dasher, Toby. He was one of our captains Friday night, and I told everybody in the locker room, you know, what I do is I tell the team who the captains are for the night in the locker room before we go out. It's kind of like a combination of who's had a great week, who's provided leadership, and who has kind of inspired the team, and who may have had a great game a week ago will get to be the captains for this week. And I named the captains. Of course, the captains this week was Isaac Gillis, Tyree Gibson, senior, and of course Tion Burrows. And then the last one, I told the team, I said, the last one, guys, really means something to us. And the last one is Toby Dasher, because Toby has really had, you know, what it's taken from the Manchester game, him getting hurt, him having a couple knee surgeries, the setbacks, everything he had to go through, sitting there watching, and it's going to be what Mookie's going to have to do too this year, sitting there having to watch all these games and not being a part of it, not feeling like you're really part of the team, even though you are. And I know I can understand not feeling part of the team when you're injured, but you know, and I said, listen, you know, my captain for tonight really is going to be Toby Dasher, because I'm just so happy to see him back in uniform, so happy to see that smile on his face I haven't hardly seen in a year, because he's really been, you know, heartbroken that he wasn't able to play. But he went out there, and you know, that knee's not 100%, but it's as good as it's going to get right now, and he made some good plays, so. You know, my guy I just want to talk about this week is Toby Dasher. I mean, I coached his dad, you know, and you know, Michael Braxton, and you know, Michael Braxton, more people know him as Foot. He was a great player, powerful, strong athlete, just like Toby is. And again, it's really a lot of fun for me to get to coach second-generation kids. I coach their dads, and now I get to coach their sons, and so that's special. And it was a special night, and a lot of people may not have known how special it was, but to see number 65 back on the field, it was really special to me.
Yeah, you've coached 2 or 3 generations here now, Coach.
Well, I haven't had a third generation yet, but if I stick around long enough, I probably will, and that might be telling me it might be time to give it up when I finally have a third generation come through this field house. But it may happen one day. But I've coached a lot of second-generation Charlton County Indians, and that's been special. I mean, I really, and a lot of them have wore the same numbers, which is a lot of fun. To see them wear the same numbers their dads wore, and sometimes I'll get confused, and I'll actually call them by their dad's name sometimes, but they understand. But it all runs together for me. But it's a lot of fun to see these kids grow up and to see them turn into young men, and to see them be able to do some really good things with their lives. And that's really what's special to me. You know, we've had 260-some wins since we've been here, and to be honest with you, that's by far not the highlight. And these state championships, for me, is not really the highlight. The highlight is getting to be a part of these kids' lives and helping them become young men and hopefully give something back down the road.
All right. Did those the same?
Yep, same guy, Toby Dash.
All right, same guy. You want to hit on Manchester a little bit this week?
Yeah,
Hold off to next week?
well, you know, this is our open week. This is an open week right here, and we're treating it as such. And our focus is, the coach's focus right now is on Manchester. We haven't introduced Manchester to the kids yet. Manchester had a scrimmage last Friday also. I don't know what the score was, but anyway, I know they scrimmaged Harris County. We got the film. We're looking at it. We're breaking it down. But again, like I said, we can talk a lot more about Manchester next week. I know it's going to be a fun trip up to Macon and playing that great facilities up there at Manchester at Mercer University to play Manchester. So, yeah, I'll be happy to talk about that next week.
All right, Coach. Are they doing 2 weeks in Mercer? Are they doing the same thing they did last year with 2 ball games?
That's right. It's 2 ball games. We start at 5. We'll be on at 5 o'clock like we did last year. It'd be our turn to stand in the sun across the field. And then right after our game ends, then you'll have Fitzgerald and Heard County, which was a great game last year also, come in right after us.
All right. Mercer treated us. They were excellent hosts last year.
Very, very hospitable, great facility, great trip up there. The kids really enjoyed it because, you know, they have the Jumbotron, the big scoreboard, and the turf field, and the big stands, and all that. We had a great locker room. It was just really nice facilities. And I know the kids, it was really a highlight for them to get to play in a place like that. So we get to go there and play in that great facility, then come right back here and play in the Swamp.
And then we open up with Santa Fe here.
Santa Fe right here.
That's going to be a lot of fun as well.
Sure will.
Coach, I appreciate it as usual. Anything else you want to touch on before we go out?
That's it.
We're good? All right, we'll see y'all not this Friday night. Any B team this week?
No B team, not until we get to Mercer.
We'll see you next week on the Coach Mack Show. Thanks for watching.